Hello, hi, welcome to GMA Talk, your most beloved social media talk show platform right here on YouTube and around the world, the GMA Talk. Thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, please comment, please like, please share this video so that everyone can stay tuned on the latest in the world of refugees and migration around the world. Today we want to speak of something that is happening around mostly in Toronto and big cities in Canada. You always hear in Canada, they always say refugees are welcomed. There's this beautiful and awesome picture painted across the country and across the world on the welcomingness and hospitality of refugees when it comes to Canada. And that is true, but at the same time is refugees and asylum seekers in Canada also faces challenges, and some challenges related to employment, some challenges related to education, some challenges related to integration. But one of the biggest and highest challenges right now, especially with the cost of living, cost of affordability increasing across the country, refugees and asylum seekers are having a challenge finding a house, finding accommodation, finding a shelter. So this is what we want to speak about today, and especially focusing and narrowing down in the city of Toronto, which is the biggest and largest city here in Canada. So recently, in these past few days, it's been spotlighted and in the news and in the media of asylum seekers and refugees sleeping outside in the street of Toronto. So basically, there are organizations which are in charge of helping refugees with shelters, refugees with integration, refugees with accommodation, but these organizations depend on fundings, whether from the levels of the city, levels of the province, or levels of the federal government. So in this case, according to city officials and provincial officials, the money that was provided from the federal government to help find accommodation and support and integrate refugees in this capacity, that funds ended up running out, and so the city of Toronto need new funding, need new money from the federal government in order to ensure that refugees are offered accommodation, are provided accommodation accordingly. So recently, because of huge numbers of people needing shelters, whether it's refugees, whether it's asylum seekers, or whether it's citizens and people themselves needing where to shelter themselves in regard to the ongoing economical challenges, many refugees and asylum seekers have found themselves sleeping in the streets of Toronto. Now, I'm sure this is not a headline that you are aware of Canada, or this is something that you might believe that is happening in Canada, but yes, you heard it right here on GMA Talk. Refugees and asylum seekers are sleeping in the street of Toronto. So we need all levels of government, from municipality, from provincial, from federal government, to really come together and work hand in hand to ensure that those who are still waiting for the cases to be heard by the refugee board here in Canada, and those who have been offered asylum already, we need to ensure that accommodation, adequate accommodation, affordable accommodation is provided accordingly, in order to not have people sleeping outside. Some of these people have had their belongings rained on. Some of the people have been on the street for days. They don't have any options. They don't have where to go. And now it's come up to some countrymen, some other organization, to see how they can shelter these people, to see how they can support these people to the best of our ability and capacity. So we call on the federal government to ensure that indeed the hospitality, the welcomeness of refugees here in Canada, that positive image that is around the world, that positive image that we all know that we love Canada because of its welcomingness and openness to refugees. We need to make sure that refugees and asylum seekers, when they arrive, they are not ended up in the streets, they're not ended up sleeping outside. And this is a challenge in among the big cities in Canada, where you're having asylum seekers, fighting and very hard to find shelter, to find where to sleep, to find people and organizations to help them as they are transitioning to the new life. And now, with the cost of living going high, the challenges normal citizens and residents are experiencing a high cost of living when it comes to rent. Rent is high, and now imagine refugees who have nothing but literally a bag that they come with, no belongings, no financial means, but depending on the generosity of Canadians and residents and the federal, provincial government and municipality. So refugees are vulnerable people when it comes to finding affordable accommodation, especially in the big cities in Canada. And this is not just the challenges in the city of Toronto, but it's challenges across, in major cities in Canada to ensure that affordable housing is provided, affordable housing is found, for refugees and the asylum seekers as they are going to ensure that the integration can be as smooth as possible when it comes to the starting of the new life in Canada. There was one refugee asylum seekers really, they said, he didn't believe, that he will be sleeping outside here in Canada, which really, it's really took me back. It really, took me to places such as in people, even in refugee camps, they offer shelters. Even in refugee camp, they offer, support and assistance. So to have these people sleep outside in the streets in Canada, really, it's a very unfortunate situation which shouldn't be happening. So we call on all levels of government to ensure these refugees and asylum seekers taken care of and accommodation is provided to everyone. Thank you very much for listening right here on GMA Talk. On this week, that's what we wanted to cover. Stay tuned right here next week on a new topic, on something else that is happening around the world. Yours truly, Gerald Tabaziamani. Love, peace, and unity. Please share, please subscribe, please comment, and stay tuned.